What's up, Nitro Nation? Muggy Maniac is back early Sunday morning. I'm up and early. Um, can't wait. Need to finish the final break in on the Reds. Um, Modified by R&B Mods, Rick. Uh, First of all, shout out to Rick. Awesome job. I can't wait to break in the Pico. And then we got the Novarasi 28.8 Rex Legend, also modified. And it is ready to get broken in what I call the Muggy, because it looks like a Muggy. It doesn't look like a monster truck. It has only 4 shocks, although they're 18 millimeter. And it sure in the hell don't look like any one of my truggies. So I know there's a real Muggy, an actual Muggy by Losi. It's called a Muggy, but this was XTM's version of their Muggy. Okay, so maybe it's not an official Muggy, but it's a Muggy. There's no doubt about it. Look at them big ass tires. Look at this fat pig, weighs about 12 pounds. It's a Muggy, okay? It's my Muggy. And it's one sick ass Muggy. And it's going to be pushed to the limits with this modified 28.8 Rex Legend. There you go. There's the R&B signature. Zah! The purple people eater. Gonna try the 053 dynamite pipe on it, which is a mid and top end pipe. And it has the matching conical header. Looks kind of like a 41031. So anyway, 2-speed, $200 worth of center tranny diff is going to be tested. Hopefully it holds up. I'm sure it will. Anyway, we have a lot to talk about. We have a huge warning for the LRP.32. Yesterday, talked to Rick at R&B for a while, and he's having an issue with these. So anyway, before we get into that, let's talk about the Reds. Now, this motor, continues to impress me. It impressed me when it was stock. It's a motor. This is not the new R5. This one's like almost 2 years old. The new ones are red. I think they're called the Team Edition. Especially, this one is obviously unique because it's modified by Rick at R&B. There again is the signature, and he, not modded the shit out of this thing. You guys seen it on the video. It's one more tank away. So the next tank, we're going to roll this baby full throttle. We're not going to scream it. We're just going to go full throttle. Maybe 2 more tanks. 1 tank definitely minimum. And then we're going to cross her over from 20% Byron's, which is all I run, to 30%. With my special mixture, which is basically Novarasi castor oil, and I usually put a little bit of Marvel Mystery oil, which if you guys know about Marvel, it doesn't hurt it. Some people say, well, I don't know if you want to put it in your fuel. Well, why not? They put it in real vehicles. I always put that shit in a full tank of fuel at the gas pump and in a regular car. It lubricates the lifters, and it just lubricates the whole motor. So, and I've been using it in my fuel mixtures, whether it's break-in or, regular running 30%. And I haven't had a problem. Plugs burn clean. I take the motors apart periodically and check them. Pistons and sleeves, fresh. So anyway, this Reds, like I said, impressed me, and it was stock. Just so you know, FYI on the Reds, this one anyway, they like to run really warm. This was crazy. When I was breaking this thing in, and I broke it in Novarasis, I broke it in LRPs, OPNAs, various motors. This is the first motor I've broken in where you didn't have to use, you only use the heat gun to heat it up to about 200, 210, fire it up. As soon as I got it up to about it got up to about 215, 220, it would hold the heat. Now it would drop all the way down to maybe 210 and maybe go up as far as maybe 230, 240, but it would stay. I wouldn't have to hit it with the heat gun at all. And keep in mind, when I was breaking this in most of the time, it was at nighttime here in Southern Cal, and it wasn't cold, but it was about 50 degrees. And for a motor at 50 degrees, you know, the temperature outside, to stay warm the entire full tank idling, I've never seen that. If you guys have, then it's no surprise, but I haven't. I talked to Rick. He said, well, these reds, they just, you know, they in most motors, he said, he recommends, and I know different people do different break-ins, 200, 210, whatever. Actually, he said it's better to break them in while they're idling or whatever at around 250, long as it's around under 300. So don't worry when it gets up to 250, 260, I mean, this thing was getting up to 260 when I was breaking it in. And Rick said the heat is your friend, okay? It's not your enemy. So that's not going to hurt it at all. Matter of fact, it's better that you run it, that you can idle it when you're breaking it in as hot as you can, okay? Hotter the better, he said. That's coming from a guy that's been building and modding motors for over 10 years. So I trust what he says. He is my official motor builder. So he is going to be the one building my motors. He's going to get my LRP.32 modded. He's going to get my OS modded, and I might throw in another Novarossi. Kind of looking, haven't decided which one. I'm looking at maybe a Roma, which is a .25. I don't want to deal with too many .21s, even though Rick said, hey, your best bet is .21s and up to and the Novarossi .28s. Those are good motors. .25 is good too. Anyway, this motor just loves to run really hot. It loves to rev really high. I mean, these things, I think, like I said, Mario designed them to run at hot temperatures. You got to remember, when they're racing stock .21s, they're running these things for 45-minute mains. So this thing would die out, or it would flame out only when it's cold. So the hotter the better. This temperature, the temperature that I kept on this thing, most of the break-in was around 250, 260. Now you can't even tune these things. They won't tune as far as the idle, as far as getting an idle down and getting your high end and low end tuned on the reds until they're around 300. And they perform better at 300 for whatever reason, which is fine with me. So two big things. This motor loves to run really hot, around 300 at its best. That's when it's spanking ass. And the carburetors are very easy to adjust. It's pretty much a Novarossi, like Rick was telling me, because I mean, Mario obviously is the son of the late Caesar Novarossi, the founder of Novarossi Motors. So Mario obviously built this thing like a Novarossi. He just added his own flavor, and apparently, from what I understand, some of the guys that built and designed OS motors work for him too. So you got the best of both worlds. A Reds is a combination of an OS and a combination of a Novarossi. So you can't lose with that. So anyway, that's that. This thing is running great. We're gonna get it fully broken in. I can't wait to just pin the throttle and scream this thing and lean it out. Now he also recommended on a modified .21 you want to go, because these things only come with a 7 millimeter Venturi. Now I ordered Mario doesn't make anything bigger than a 7, obviously, for the .21s, because they're for racing. So Rick says on a .21 you want to put a bigger Venturi, an 8.5 at the minimum. I've got about an 8 1/4. I drilled out this one to 8 1/4, almost 8 1/2. I'm going to drill it out a little more, and I'm going to get about a 9. I'm going to run a 9 millimeter Venturi on this thing since it is modified and see what it does, because it likes to scream wide open. So why not just let it breathe, man? It's not going to hurt anything. You don't want to go any bigger than a 9 on anything, even though on the 28.8 and my LRP .32, I'm going to run 9.5. Not a 10, but I'm going to push it right to the edge, 9.5. And I'll let you know how that works out. So anyway, Let's get to what's going on here. So LRP, apparently, I talked to Rick. He's having issues. Now the Spec 3s, he is running across them. He's been having this problem for a long time, and now he's running into it more with these new LRP ZR.32 Spec 4s. These are the brand new ones that you get from A-Main. A-Main is mostly the one that carries them, okay? Biggest motor so far in 8-scale Nitro. Now the problem he's having is he's finding that if you look at these sleeves, this is the sleeve out of here. See where the port is? I don't know if you guys can see that. See how it's got that rough edge on the bottom right here? Right there where my fingernail is? That's bad porting. He says what's happening is these things will chip off. He can chip them off, and I've chipped off a couple of my fingernail. I'm surprised my motor ran through the break-in and everything. He says what happens is a piece will chip off and it'll get in the motor and destroy it. You'll throw a rod. You got to remember, on a Nitro motor, the RPM, especially on something this big, are so high you have no room for error. I mean, there can't be nothing, not even a freaking hair in your sleeve. Your motor will throw a rod. It'll seize. So and you look at the porting. I mean, look at that. If I took out and I compared it, but I'm not going to take it apart again. If you compare Nova Rossi or other motors that I've looked at, especially Nova Rossi, their porting is nothing like this. Look at that. It's almost got a sharp edge on it. It's supposed to be smooth all the way around. That's just, excuse my language, it's fucking horrible, horrible porting. I've done fabricating and deburring for aerospace for many years. Like, whoever's doing the deburring, or if they're doing any deburring on these things, ought to be shot and fired. Or, yeah, just fire the guy. That's, see this little one right here? This little small port? That's what they're supposed to look like. Okay? Look at that. It's got an edge on it. And you could see right there. This is where it's chipping off. So my recommendation to you people that are buying these, if you buy them, I wouldn't run them stock. You almost need to modify it. Now, Rick's going to clean it up like he always does. He inspects every single motor when he gets it and pulls it apart before he does any work because he wants to see what he's working with. Look at that. That's just shitty porting. I can't believe that LRP. It was one when I addressed the issues with the LRP.32 when I took it apart on a prior video. You got no turbo plug on a big ass motor. I don't get it. You're running a piece of shit carburetor. I don't get it. Also, he also told me too, and you can see the glow plugs sit down too far in the burning chamber. Now this little oval piece in there, Rick calls that engine modifiers call it the burn chamber. Okay, this is where all the burning and flame is right here. Okay, this little round indentation. Now, he said this thing is sitting down like 1/8 of a millimeter too far. And I can just see by it should your plug on any button head, this is the button head that's above that's right underneath here, and this is what sits on top of your motor. This right here, the plug should sit flush. You could see where it sticks in a little bit too far. So that's another problem. That's going to fucking burn your plugs. It could damage your piston, especially if it was to hit. So that is the other issue. Now this is not, I'm not just making this shit up. This is from Rick. You can go on Facebook. I have him on my Facebook, and he, put it on Facebook, social media. LRP is building shitty motors. Now, like I said, Rick can clean them up, modify them, and they'll be badass still. But the fact that they're putting out motors, like this, for the average guy and a newbie, if you're a newbie and you want to buy one of these, do not keep it stock, because you're going to risk fucking throwing a rod, fucking your motor up, because of these two problems. So, again, LRP, the plugs, first of all, First of all, the main issue is the porting on it is garbage. It's shitty porting. I mean, when I run my finger through it, when I run my finger through it, it grabs my finger. It's not even smooth in here. I'm surprised. My motor hasn't already fucking seized when I was breaking it in. When you run your finger through a sleeve, there should be nothing grabbing you. It's grabbing my fingers. I can feel it because of these ports, because of the way that they're not even fucking smoothed out. I mean, that's crazy. So you should be able to run your finger through any sleeve across the port and it should be smooth. I mean, so that's the problem. Also, the plug. Now he said you need to shim 2 shims, 2 spacers in your spark plugs, okay? But that's still not going to fix this problem. My suggestion and Rick's suggestion is to you is, you know, you can take it apart. I can smooth this out myself. If I want to keep this motor, I have a Dremolo and I have the right tool. I have all the bits. I could smooth all this out. I know what I'm doing. I can smooth all that out and make it nice and smooth, which I might anyway. And then put 2 spacers in. So if you want to do that, and he said make sure the guy modifying your motor knows what he's doing, because if he draws these ports out, which means when they port it, what they do, let me show you. See that there? That's called that little thing. It's called a fang because it looks like a fang. They stretch those fangs out. That's where you're increasing your power. There's 2 of them usually on each motor. So if he's not doing that right, and the porting's not done right, your motor will not last. You will fucking seize your motor eventually. Maybe not right away, but eventually. So that's the warning. You know, that's what's going on with that. This is from Rick from R&B Mods, a guy that has 10 years plus engine building and motor modifying. So take it for what it's worth. You can either say, oh, well, maybe mine's not like that. And he said it's in all the Spec 4s he's been running across. He said even some Spec 3s. He said it's been going on for a while. He just started noticing it a lot more on the new motors. That's why he decided to air it. Now I'm going to send an email, and I suggest anybody that owns one of these, send an email to LRP and say, dude, what the fuck? I mean, you guys give us no turbo plug. You give us a fucked up carburetor that you guys, I don't know how you can't address the carburetor. Your spark plug, your plugs are fucking setting in your button head in the burn chamber here too far. And your fucking portings on your sleeves are fucking garbage. So that's what's going on. So I just wanted to let everybody know that. What else do I got going on? We're going to take these tires, these ZD Racing rims. I like these tires. I'm going to pull them apart, and I'm going to put some real foam. I got some Proline foam in them because otherwise they balloon. And I have a brand new set of these, and these will be my break-in tires. And I also will obviously run them on the Muggy. I'm not going to run these, I don't think. I just want to leave them. I mean, they're collectible. These are Muggy tires, the original tires, and they still got tread on them. If I run them in the street, even to break them in, I figure I'll turn them into slicks. You know, I really don't want to. I just want to hold on to them because those are my original rims. The NBX, in the next week or so, we're going to get that put back together. By that time, the R5 Team Edition will be fully broken in. We're going to pull it out, and we're going to put it in the Mugen. I'm possibly going to either break in the Pico 28 7-port that's modified by Rick, either in there, or I just might break it in the Techno. Techno's been doing well breaking in stuff. I mean, it's running well. It handles like a fucking buggy. The steering is almost too much. The braking, it stops on a dime, gives you a nickel. So I need to back my braking off. I need to set the endpoints and the sensitivity, which is your exponentials on my steering, because this thing is like so quick, and it's just really it turns like and handles just like a buggy, man. And it's an 8-scale Nitro truggy. People told me that it handles like a buggy, man. It's almost too much steering. But other than that, I love it. The MBX7TR Mugen, we got shit coming for it. So I got a front and rear chassis braces by King Heads coming in. I've got some carbon fiber shit coming in. What else? So not much else to come in for the. Oh, I got some brand new servos, some SAB boxes, and we're probably gonna eventually put the once I break it in, because I'm not gonna keep the Novarossi 28.8 Rex Legend. After I break it in the muggy and run it around in the muggy, I'm gonna pull it out, put the stock one back in, and I will put the Rex Legend 28.8 that's modified by Rick at R&B. I'm gonna put it in the Mugen, and it's gonna spank that ass. I gotta redo the I gotta shave this whole thing down, so I haven't even started on it. I'm still breaking in that, dealing with these issues, getting this thing, the MBX5 buggy put back together, all dialed in, all fully cosmetic surgery, brand new plastics, everything, and the muggy, really nothing to do with the muggy. It's just waiting to get that Rex Legend broken in on it. So it'll be a second. I broke my stock Rex Legend, my first one, in on this platform. So now I'm breaking in a modified one on it. So I'm sure the muggy's excited. Yes, it is. So anyway, that's all I got. Shout out to everybody. You know, happy holidays to everybody. Elite RC, we'll wrap later. Me and him talk on a daily basis. That's my brother from another mother. Want to see what's going on with that JQ Concepts. Badass little build he's got going on. I'm hunting right now for a buggy, but I'm taking my time. I'm not in any hurry. I got tons of shit to do right now. Shout out to John Bodegel and his Q. That's a bad little mini buggy. His Q build. And shout out to Floyd Brewer. Can't wait to see your bling bling motors when you get them back from Rick modded. Make sure you show your shit. Floss your shit. We want to see it. I showed my bling bling. So anybody's got bling bling, bust it out. And shout out to Raja111. Want to see some more tutorials. I'm learning a lot from him. Learning about clutches. Learning about endpoints. Learning about, you know, a lot of different things from him. So I'd like to see him run some shit. I don't know where he lives and how cold it is, but I'd like to see him run some of his modifieds. I'd like to see that. I know he said he retired it, but I'd like to see that Novarossi 28.8 Rex Legend like mine that's also modified by Rick at R&B. I'd like to see that thing run again, too. I'd like to see him throw that in his truggy. I know he put it in the buggy, and it spanks. He said that thing, he hasn't found an E-word yet that can, and 6S or anything, he spanks them all, so kudos to you, bro. But anyway, shout out to everybody that I didn't give a shout out to. That's the Muggy Maniac. And that's all I got, people. Watch out for the LRPs, man. Fair warning.